So this is the Edexcel GCSE foundation paper for maths from Thursday the 8th of November 2018. So question 1, write down the value of the 4 in the number 542.3. So that's in the tens column, so you could either say tens or you could say 40. Question 2, write down a square number that is also an odd number. So you could have gone for, say, 1 or 9, 25, 49. Any of these will have done. There's lots and lots of them out there, as long as it's a square number and also odd. Question 3, well, there are 1,000 grams in a kilogram, so that's 4.56 kilograms. Obviously a kilogram is much heavier, so there's fewer kilograms. And then there's 1,000 millimeters in a meter, so that's 7,300. Question 4, work out the cube root of 64. So you might just know that 4 times 4 times 4 is 64, so the cube root is 4. Or you could go and work out the cube root of 64 using the button on the calculator. That's the cube root button. It will be somewhere. It's quite often the second function, the shift function to the square root. So you'll be looking out for your button on your calculator for a button that looks like this, really. Question 5, write 0.31 as a fraction. Well, that's 3 in the tenths column, 1 in the hundredths column, so that's 31 over 100. It can't be simplified, that's your final answer. Question 6, so we need to write these fractions in order of size. Now I think given this is a calculator paper, it's probably best just to turn them all into decimals. So you can either use the fractions button on your calculator that looks like this. Alright, so try and get familiar with a button that sort of looks like that. You use the fraction button, then just press equals, or for example the first one you could just do 3 divided by 4 equals. So turning these all into decimals, we get 0.75. 5 divided by 7 is 0.71 roughly. 19 divided by 25 is 0.76. And 11 divided by 15 is 0.73 recurring. So that then makes it easy to see them smallest to biggest. So that's the smallest, then that one, then that one, then that one. So just go and write down the fractions in that order. So 5/7, then 11/15, then 3/4, and then 19 over 25. Question 7. So 3m take away m is 2m, take away another m is 1m, then add on the 3m's, then there's 4m. Now when we're multiplying out and simplifying, you can just do the numbers in any order you like. So just start off by doing the normal numbers, so 2 4s are 8. Now we can't really do anything more than just list the letters in order, alphabetical order, I think. So 8np is the answer here. That means 8 times n times p. Question 8. So on a map we have a scale of 1 centimetre to 14 kilometres. Now on the map we are saying it is 18.8 centimetres. So how many kilometres is this going to be? Well, we're multiplying by 14 to go left to right. So 18.8 times 14 using your calculator gives us 263.2. Question 9, part A. Now given 21 is quite low, I think it's almost easier just to work out the first few numbers in the sequence. So the first number in the sequence is when n is 1. So substituting 1 into this, we get 3 lots of 1, which is 3. 3 add 4 is 7. Now when n is 2, 3 2s is 6, 6 add 4 is 10. When n is 3, 3 3s are 9, add 4, not 10, 11, 12, 13. And you can now start seeing the pattern. We're going up in 3s each time. So the sequence is going to go 16, then 19, then 22, and so on. And we can see that 21 is not a term in the sequence. So leave that sequence there, leave your calculation there, and you can say the sequence goes from 19 to 22. So 21 is not in the sequence. Something like that. Okay, I think just writing out the numbers, the sequence itself would be enough, but I've just copper-bottomed it with the wording as well. Part B, here are the first 3 terms of a different sequence. Write down 2 numbers that could be the 4th and the 5th terms. Now, what's going on here? What could be going on is that we're doubling, because 1 times 2 is 2, and then we're doubling to get the 4. So what the next 2 terms could be 8 and then 16, because we are doubling. Or doubling the previous number to get the next number. Okay. Question 10, work out the output when the input is 8. So we're putting 8 into this number machine. So we start off by timesing it by 5. 8 times 5 is 40, and then we take away 2. 40 take away 2 equals 38. Now work out the input when the output is 28. So now we're going the other way around. So we've got to do the opposite going backwards. So rather than take away 2, we're going to add 2 to give us 30. And then rather than multiply by 5, we're going to divide by 5, giving us 6. And you can see that that works if you go the other way. If you took your 6 as an input, timesed it by 5, took away 2, you would indeed get 28. Question 11. Well, Adam gets a bonus of 30% of 80. Now 30% is 30 out of 100. So the easiest way to work out this using a calculator is to do 30 over 100 times 80. Alternatively, if you like, you could do 0.3 times 80. Obviously that's the same thing. And that gives you £24. So that's what Adam gets. Now Katie gets £28, so obviously the difference in the bonus is 4. Question 12. So there are 49 counters in a bag, 20 of them are red, the rest are blue. So how many are blue? Well, obviously we're going to do 49 take away 20, which is 29. Now one of the counters is taken at random. Find the probability that the counter is blue. Well, when you're asked to give a probability, it's always easiest to give it as a fraction. So there are 29 blue counters out of a total of 49 counters. So 29 over 49 is your final answer. Question 13. So the square has an area of 81 centimetres squared. So each of the sides must be 9, because 9 times 9 is 81, and the area of a square is base times height. Now we're being asked to work out the perimeter of the square, the perimeter. That's the length all the way around the outside of the square. So that's obviously 9, 9, 9 and 9, and 4 9s are 36. Now for part B, let's start off by working out the area of the triangle. Now the area of a triangle is half times the base times the height. So that's half times 9 times 16, which is 72. So that's the area of the triangle. Now the area of the parallelogram, we're told, is 5 times the area of the triangle. So that's 72 times 5, which is 360. Now how do you work out the area of a parallelogram? It's the base times the perpendicular height, and that gives us the area of the parallelogram, which we've just worked out to be 360. So to work out h, it's going to be 360 divided by 30, and that's 12 centimetres. Question 14. So Victoria throws an ordinary fair dice, a fair six-sided dice once. She said the probability of getting a 3 is half the probability of getting a 6. Is she right? Well, no, she's not right. The probability of getting each number is exactly the same. It's a fair dice. That's the whole point. So is Victoria correct? Victoria is not correct. The probability of getting each number is the same. The probability is is a sixth. So why don't we go and say, a sixth? Right, Andy throws the dice twice. He says they're probably getting a 6 on both occasions is 2 over 6. Is he correct? No, he is not. The probability of getting a 6 on both throws is now, it's not a sixth add a sixth, it's a 6 times a sixth, which is 1 over 36. Now, part C, Indra throws the dice once. She also throws a coin to get heads or tails. List all the possible outcomes she can get. So she could get a 1 on the dice and a heads, or a 2 and a heads, a 3 and a heads, a 4 a heads, 5 and a heads, and a 6 and a heads. Or equally, she could get a 1 and a tail, a 2 and a tail, a 3 and a tail, a 4 and a tail, a 5 and a tail, and a 6 and a tail. And there are all the possible combinations. Question 15. Now with simple interest, you get the same amount of interest every year. So the £75 simple interest he's got in total over 5 years. So he's got the same amount each year. So we just need to do 75 divided by 5 to see how much interest he got each year. Now 75 divided by 5 is £15 per year. So if he's getting £15 per year on the £600 that he invested, so £15 from the £600 he invested, so we need to do 15 divided by the 600 and then multiply that by 100 to turn it into a percentage. So 15 divided by 600 equals times 100, and we can see that that's 2.5%. Question 16. So what single transformation would map shape A onto shape B? Well, that would, if we were to reflect it in this line here, okay, it would mirror onto shape B. That is the x-axis. So we have to say a reflection in the x-axis. Question 17. So Adrian already has 10 bags of cement. So each bag of cement has got 25 kilograms. So 10 times 25 means he's already got, so 10, sorry, that should be 10 times sign. 10 times 25 is 250 kilograms. He already has that amount of cement. He's going to use 180 kilograms of cement, so he's already got enough cement. Now, he did 20 bags of sand, so he's got 20. Each bag of sand is 22.5. So let's go and do 20 times 22.5, which is 450 kilograms. So again, he's already got enough sand. He's going to use 375, so he's got enough sand. Now with regards to the stone, he's got 20 bags, 50 kilograms per bag, so 20 times 50 is 1,000. So he doesn't have enough stone, okay? He is 1080, take away 1,000. He needs another 80 kilograms. He needs another 80 kilograms of stone Now each bag contains 50 kilograms, so what's he going to have to buy? He's going to have to buy 2 bags of stone. So Adrian will need to buy 2 bags of stone. Question 18. Bill wants to increase 150 by 3%. He writes down that. Bill's method is wrong. Explain why. Now, he's gone and used 1.3. Now, that multiplier would increase it by 30%, not 3%. So he needs to use the multiplier 1.03. That would increase it by 3%. So Bill's method is wrong. Explain why. Bill should use a multiplier of 1.03 for a 3% increase. That's all we need to say. Okay, that's what he should use. Now, Sally wants to decrease 150 by 3%. Complete the statement. Now, if you're decreasing something by 3%, you're actually leaving in place 97%. Okay, 100% take away 3% is 97%. So what multiplier leaves you with 97% is 0.97. So when you do 150 times 0.97, you get £145.50. Question 19. So for part A, start off by doing the claw. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times minus 4 is minus 12, and that equals 12. Now, to undo this minus 12, we're going to add 12 to both sides. So 3x equals 24. And then to undo this timesing by 3, we're going to divide both sides by 3. And 24 divided by 3 is 8, so x equals 8. Now, for part B, notice it says fully. So when it says factorise fully, there's going to be more than one component that you're taking outside the bracket. So what's the highest common factor of 9 and 3? Well, that's 3. What's the highest common factor of b and b squared? Well, that is b. So 3b comes outside the bracket, and you need to say to yourself, 3b times what would give you 9b? Well, that would be a 3. Then get the sign right. We need a minus sign. And 3b times what would give us 3b squared? Well, we need a b. And then it's easy to check your answer. Does 3b times 3 give you 9b? Yes, it does. And does 3b times minus b give you minus 3b squared? Yes, it does. Question 20. So let's start off by seeing if there are any numbers that are in A, B and C. Yes, there is. That 8 is in A, B and C. So that goes right in the middle. Now, have we got any other numbers that crop up in more than one? Yes, we do. We've got the 20 cropping up in B and C. So 20 goes in B and C. And all the other numbers are unique to the circles. Yes, they are. So in A, we have to have the 2, the 10 and the 14. Cross them off so you don't miss any out. B's got to have the 6. And C's got to have the 18 and the 22. So those are all the numbers that are in either A, B or C, but don't forget any other numbers that are in our universal set. Our rectangle has got to include everything in the universal set, so all the even numbers between 1 and 25. So let's just go through all the even numbers between 1 and 25. Well, 2 we've already done, so we need 4, 6 is done, 8 is done, 10 is done, so we need 12, 14's done, so we need 16, 18's done, 20's done, 22 is done, we need 24. Now for part B, a number is chosen at random from the universal set. So one of these numbers is chosen at random. Find the probability that this number is a member of A intersection B. So what's the probability that the number you pick is in both A and B? Well, there's only one number that's in A and B. That's the number 8. There's one number. Now, how many numbers have we got in total that we'd be picking from the universal set? So how many numbers are in our rectangle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 1 over 12 is the probability. Question 21. So we're being asked to write down two things that are wrong with this, wrong with his answer. So the first thing to note is that the line of best fit doesn't accurately suit all the points. The idea is that by eye you make sure that the line goes between the points such that you've got just as many above it as below it. So a more accurate line of best fit would be something like this, something down there, something down there. Okay, so write down two things that are wrong with his answer. Well, the first thing is his line of best fit. His line of best fit. Something like does not suit all the points. Okay, now the second thing to note is his scale. He's made a mistake on his height scale. On the whole we're going up in tens, aren't we? 170, 180, 190, 200. But then he's made a mistake. That 160, he's missed out the 150 basically. So we need to go and say his height scale, so as long as you make the point that he's missed out the 150, you'll be fine. But putting that more accurately, his height scale is not linear. You know, it doesn't go up in equal steps. Question 22. So work out the size of angle X, give a reason for each stage of your working. Well, okay, let's start off by working out this angle here. Now, angles in a straight line add up to 180, so the 110 plus 25 plus this angle must add up to 180. So that angle there has to be 180, take away 110, take away 25 equals 45. So that angle there is 45 degrees. So let's go and explain why that is. Now, we describe that as being angle B to E to G. So angle BEG equals 45 degrees, and the reason is that angles on a straight line total 180 degrees. Okay, let's just change colour for the next bit. So it would be handy now to go and work out what this angle is up here, this angle in this here. Now, to help us do that, first of all, I'm going to go and work out what this angle is here. Whoops, I wanted to change colour for that. This angle, whoops, still hasn't changed. Now it has this angle here. Now I can do that by way of this thing here. So this Z angle, or more poshly, alternate angles are equal. This whole angle here has to be the same as that angle here. Okay, so that angle, there has to be the 45 added to the 25, which is 70. So that angle there must be 70. Okay, so let's go and explain that. So angle A to B to E, ABE equals 70 degrees. Okay, alternate angles are equal. Now, once we know that that's 70, that red angle there now, or pink angle, whatever, this angle here, again, it's going to be angles in a straight line add up to 180, isn't it? 70 add 35, add that angle, must be 180. So 180, take away 70, take away 35, means that that angle there is 75. So again, let's give a reason for that stage of our working. So that's angle E to B to G, angle EBG equals 75 degrees. Again, that's because angles on a straight line and then finally, therefore, is we can now work out angle X. This angle X, because angles in a triangle add up to 180. So X is going to be 180 take away the other two angles in the triangle, so take away 75, take away 45, that's 60 degrees. So x equals 60 degrees because angles in a triangle total 180 degrees. Okay, so let's start off with Ali. So Ali is investing £2,000, okay, at 2.5% interest per annum. So that means the multiplier is going to be 1.025, and we're trying to see how much interest they have, compound interest this is, after 3 years. So that's going to be 1.025 times 10 to the power of 3. Now this is going to give me the total amount of money Ali has after the 3 years. So 2,000 multiplied by 1.025 to the power of 3 is 2153.78. 2153.78. Now we want to work out who gets the most amount of interest. So to take away the £2,000 that Ali initially invested from this means the interest is 153.78. Now compare this to Ben, who invests £1,600 in the share account. So the interest rate there, the multiplier rather, will be 1.035. Again, it's for 3 years, so to the power of 3. So 1600 multiplied by 1.035 to the power of 3 equals 1773.95. So taking away the £1,600 they initially invested, that's going to give Ben interest of 173.95. So who gets the most interest? Ben gets the most interest. By the end of 3 years. By the end of 3 years. Okay, so now then moving on to part B. In the 3rd year, the rate of interest for the share account, now the share account is the one that Ben has, okay, is changed to 4%. So Ben's going to get more money, even more money, okay. So does this affect who will get the most interest by the end of 3 years? No, it doesn't, because Ben's the one who benefits from this, and he already gets the most interest. Now there's only a mark going for this, so they're not expecting us to work out how much extra interest he gets. It's just we need to answer the question, does this affect who will get the most interest? So we say no, this does not affect who gets the most interest. Who gets the most interest? Ben will get even more interest than before, as he has invested in the share account. Something like that, okay? Okay. Question 24. So let's start by working out the area of the floor. Now this is the trapezium. To work out the area of the trapezium, you average the parallel sides. So those are the 10 and the 16. So we're going to add those together and then divide those by 2. So you work out the average of the parallel sides, and you multiply this by the distance between the parallel sides, which is the 7. So 16 add 10 is 26, half of 26 is 13, so we're going to do 13 times 7, giving us an area of 91 meters squared. Now, a litre of paint covers an area of 2 meters squared. So how many litres of paint are we going to need? Well, each litre does 2 meters, so we're going to need 91 divided by 2. So 91 divided by 2, which is 45.5 litres. So that's how much paint we're going to need. Now there are 5 litres in a tin. Now 5 nines are 45. So if we buy 9 tins, we haven't quite got enough. So we have to go and buy 10 tins. Okay, we're going to have plenty left over, but that's just too bad, isn't it? We can't just break into that 10th tin and take a bit of it. We're going to have to buy 10 tins. So we need 10 tins. So 10 lots of £16.99 is what we need to buy. So we're going to need to have £169.90. Now John has got £160 to spend. Has John got enough money? So we say John has not got enough money. Has not got enough money. Enough money. He needs to spend £169.90 to buy 10 tins, but only has £160, something like that. Question 25. Now I would think a sketch helps with a question like this. So A is the coordinate 5, 9, so let's say that's about here. So that's 5 along the corridor, 9 up the stairs, so that's coordinate 5, 9. And we know that this line A to B has a gradient of 3, so that's going to be going uphill. Okay, to B. And what do we know about point B? We know that's the coordinate D, 15. So that's D along the corridor and 15 up the stairs. Now, to work out a gradient, you want to work out the y step over the x step of a triangle of your choice. So let's just go and pop in this triangle here. So the gradient, all right, is going to be this length here, which is the y step, divided by this length here, which is the x step. Okay. So the gradient is going to be the gradient is the y step over the x step, as I said. Now, what is the y step? The y step is going from 15 to 9. Okay, 15 to 9. So that's 6, and that's going to be over the x step. And when we work out this gradient, we know that it's going to be 3. So 6 divided by what gives us 3? Well, that's going to be 2, isn't it? 6 divided by 2 is 3. So this x step here must be 2 in length. This has got to be 2 in length. Now that's going from 5. Okay, that's going from 5. So 5 added on to 2 must mean that D equals 7. Question 26, part A. So we're going to do the 4 clause. So 5x times 2x is 10x squared. 5x times minus 3 is minus 15x. 2 times 2x is plus 4x. And 2 times minus 3 is minus 6. We then simplify by gathering the like terms, so gathering up the x's in the middle. So we're left with 10x squared minus 11x minus 6. Now when we factorise a quadratic like this, we're going to end up with a pair of brackets, and the first term must be x, because the x times the x will give us the x squared. Now what about these two magic numbers? Now these multiply to be the number on the end, so multiply to be plus 3, but add to be the coefficient of the x, so add to be 4. So what two numbers multiply to be 3 but add to be 4? Well, they are 1 and 3. 1 times 3 is 3, 1 add 3 is 4. So our magic numbers are plus 1 and plus 3. You may of course write it the other way round. You might have written x plus 3, x plus 1. Question 27. So write that number in standard form. So remember what standard form requires. It requires the first component to be between 1 and 10. So where would we put the decimal point to get a number between 1 and 10? Well, it would be between the 7 and the 5. So 7.547 needs to be the first part of our answer. Okay, 7.547. Now, with that is then going to be times 10 to the power of something, and because this is a very small number, it's going to be a negative power. Now, I'm just going to write out the numbers a bit bigger so that I can explain the next step. So we need 4 zeros, then a 7547. Now, where's the decimal point to start with? It's here. Where's it got to end up? Well, between the 7 and the 5. So how many hops is it to get there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hops. So it's to the power of minus 5. Now for the second one, write this as an ordinary number. Now again, just to start off by writing out the 3.42 and then pop in some zeros just as a workings. Now, because it's times 10 to the power of 4, we're going to do 4 hops. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So our final answer is going to be 342 and then 2 zeros. So 342 and then 2 zeros. Now for part C, use your calculator, obviously, and take advantage of the fractions button, which is the one that looks like that. It's normally about 3 down on the left hand side, and then you can just plop all of the numerator into the top rectangle, and then use the arrow key to go down to the bottom rectangle for the denominator. And as you pop using the times 10 to the 4s and times 10 to the 3s, make sure you use the times 10 to the x button that's normally right down in the bottom middle of your calculator. And if you do so, you should get the answer 3.082 times 10 to the power of minus 15. The question didn't make it clear whether you were to give your answer in standard form or as an ordinary number, so both were fine, but clearly that's a lot quicker and easier to write out, leaving your answer in standard form.